say that you have a lot of anxiousness about relapsing, because I know a few weeks ago you came in and you had relapsed, and that's kind of why you're here today. And maybe you need a few more tools to keep yourself from relapsing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my timeline. You know, it's like I have no problem staying sober and avoiding activities and that kind of thing, but I start to get restless, you know, after 3 weeks, and I'm not like we talked about, I'm not ready to like eliminate friends from my life who drink or going to see those friends in that kind of environment, and alcohol is everywhere too, you know. So yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I need to find a way in the moment to not feel frustrated that other people are drinking, to be able to be in environments that I enjoy doing things, because it's not like I just go to bars to drink. There's lots of, you know, different events with friends of mine that I go to that are just in places where there's alcohol, like sporting events and all that kind of stuff. So that's, yeah, I guess, I mean, I need, give me some tools.
It sounds like you're having some trouble taking yourself out of the mindset of wanting to drink when you're around other people.
Yeah.
Well, that does make sense, because you're not used to exercising these other steps to keep yourself from relapsing. Right now, your mind just wants to go to I want to drink when you're around other people. So maybe there are some things that you can either do or tell yourself instead. What do you think?
I mean, do you like? I'm going to talk out loud to myself in public because that seems really weird and is going to put me out of the social situation anyway.
No, I don't want you to talk to yourself. I don't want you to feel any more isolated than you already do. What I'm talking about is coming up with distractors in, you know, whether it's in your own head or whether you're doing an activity with other people. Well, there are definitely some things that we can talk about that can kind of help you with that. Okay. So I'm going to hand you this sheet for distress tolerance. It's Dbt activity. So why don't you read what it says to me?
Distress tolerance crises survival strategies. Distracting a useful way to remember these skills is the phrase wise mind accepts. Okay, so accepts is the acronym. With A, activities, with C, contributing, with C, comparisons, with opposite E, emotions, with P, pushing away, with other T for thoughts, with intense other sensations.
Okay, great. So of these letters, do you see any of them that stick out that seem particularly helpful to you?
I mean, like the activities, like engaging yourself in other activities, I can see how that would be helpful, but I guess I don't know exactly how that would work when I'm in a situation, you know, where I'm having a craving and there's alcohol. But, you know, like I said, I'm willing to try whatever, even if I'm not too sure about it.
Well, why don't you put yourself in a social context? Which one do you think would be the most helpful?
Opposite emotions, read emotional books or stories, old letters. I mean, again, I could see why this might help someone, but, you know, I'll put it in my toolbox, but I don't see how it works with, sorry, the situation I'm talking about. It push the situation away by leaving for a while. Leave mentally, okay, I mean, I'll think about it. With other thoughts, count to 10, count colors in a painting or tree. Okay, so I could see that, watch TV, read. So that, I mean, that seems like something I could think about in anywhere. And sensations, I guess I really don't like holding ice in my hand, and I could see why that might work. Sex sounds good. I don't know if I can do that in public, but, you know, generally I'm on board. Put a rubber band on wrist, pull out and let go. Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, I can see where this is going. I guess, like, I mean, I always have a little bit of trouble buying into this kind of shit, but I gotta try. So some of it seems like hokey and like, how are you gonna do it? But I guess I gotta try something. So
yeah, you don't have to buy into it yet. I just want you to see if it works for you, because we can always come back to something else if it doesn't. Okay.
Thanks.
See you next week, Matt.
Bye.
so we're here in week 4 after you got your accepts worksheet, and I'm curious to see how that went for you.
Well, okay. I mean, it went. You know, I kind of didn't mention this to you. You know, I'm into British Premier League soccer, and so I was going to this bar, and I didn't want to tell you I was going to a bar. I didn't want you to tell me not to, so I kind of avoided that part of it.
Tell me about your bar experience.
Well, I mean, that's the only place to really watch it is like a British soccer bar in Chicago without me paying $75 a month to have the channel. So that's sort of what I didn't want you to tell me not to go. So that's kind of what I was avoiding saying last time, I guess.
Yeah, that's something my friends always do. So I went, and the games are on early in the morning because they're being broadcast from Europe. So I went, and it's like 9 in the morning,
And people were already drunk. And at first it was like, oh, this is really off-putting. These people all look like assholes. Like they're already drunk and it's 9 in the morning. And that used to be me. But then after I was like kind of shooting the shit with my friends for a little while and sitting there and everybody's drinking and having fun, I was like, fuck, I really want to drink.
Why can't I do this? And maybe I'll just have one or whatever. So
And I started like, I had the sheet in my pocket. So I like went to the bathroom and I looked at it and it just seemed like total bullshit to me.
I was like, okay, activities. Like, I'm not going to go run around the block or like clean the bar. Contributing, I'm also not going to do volunteer work at a bar unless I'm volunteering to have a beer, which is what got me here in the first place. Comparisons to people coping with the same thing, it felt like whatever, that's just going to make me angry. I wasn't about to like read opposite emotions, read like an emotional story or book or anything.
And I started kind of reading through the letters and like thinking about what I could do and like
The rubber band thing, and I was thinking this is all like bullshit, but by the time that I got through reading the worksheet, the craving had kind of passed. So like I just doing that like took me out of my own crap long enough to like kind of let it settle and to kind of move past it, and I was able to go back out and like sit with my friends who were drinking and getting tipsy and enjoy the rest of the game without like having another like intense craving.
like nothing really seemed like it would work. But what did work was taking the time to look at the sheet, even though I felt like it was bullshit. Like looking at the sheet, I like took myself out of the craving long enough to like, it went away.
You know, I didn't like buy into it and it seemed kind of hokey, but I guess just doing that sort of worked.
Well, it's like I told you, you don't have to believe it yet. You can still think it's bullshit. But I want to, you said something kind of interesting. I want you to take a look at, the letter P.
Okay.
And read the description of that for me.
P, pushing away. Push the situation away by leaving it for a while. Leave the situation mentally. Build an imaginary wall between yourself and the situation, or push the situation away by blocking it in your mind. Censor ruminating. Refuse to think about the painful aspects of the situation. Put the pain in the shelf, box it up, and put it away for a while.
So what do you think going into the bathroom and looking at this worksheet was?
Yeah, okay. Totally. I mean, I guess that's exactly what I did. I didn't even think about it that way. Maybe I was just too frustrated. I didn't even get to reading that far into the sheet.
I guess I did that even though I didn't like really think that I was like buying into it and it seemed kind of hokey and like this is for people with other problems. I did exactly that, I guess, right?
You did.
Well, I guess, you know, I sort of accepts without even realizing it.
It sounds like it. Do you think this is something that you will find useful in the future?
I think I'm ready to accept it.
All right. Well, let's
Sorry.
no, that's good. I'm glad that it worked for you. So I think maybe DBT is a good tool for you. So why don't we look at some more exercises for you and add some more tools to your toolbox of relapse prevention.
All right.
All right. Way to go, Matt. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
So after having this termination conversation we just had, I'm wondering how you're feeling about all the mindfulness activities we've done in the DBT and how you feel about it moving forward.
Good. I mean, it's interesting. Like the thing that's been the most helpful. I mean, all the tools are great, but the thing that's been the most helpful in my life is kind of like the mindfulness stuff. I started noticing myself being more mindful in all of my activities, and like it really helps to relax me, and it helps me not to think about fucking alcohol all the time. So I mean, I think that's been the most helpful, and it puts me in a place where I can acknowledge how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling anguish, if I'm feeling anxious or angry, I kind of just put those two together.
They can go hand in hand sometimes.
Anytime I have anxiety or anything, or have anything to do, I feel like the mindfulness sort of creeps in, and it's made me a more mindful person in general, and it's really increased my productivity and my ability to focus at work and on relationships and pretty much anything without being distracted or being like, I want to go have a beer because I'm anxious or because I'm pissed off. Like, I'm able to deal with that in a much different way. That doesn't mean the feelings are gone, but it's a different, it feels different and it feels good.
All right. So why don't we touch base over the phone in 4 weeks just to see how you're doing? Because I know you get a little tense around those 4-week periods.
Well, I have that resource packet you gave me too today,
absolutely.
So.
We'll see how you're doing.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Matt.
All right. Thanks. Likewise.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.